Everybody, welcome into another edition of Make Every Second Count Live with me, your host, Jeff Marconette Jr., and award-winning international Make Every Second Count speaker. Now, this show happens every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, where we try to help you with whatever you are going through at the present moment. Now, I have a guest tonight, and he is pretty awesome. And I want you to learn how he went from selling dope to using dope, and now he does nothing but sell and offer hope. So I think he's a pretty awesome guy, and I ask you if you would please give us a like, give us a heart, whatever, and share this video out with all kinds of people because I guarantee this guy will help somebody out. All right, here's Corey. Hey, Corey.
Hey, how you doing, Jeff?
Great. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Now, I would like to pull this up on my phone so I can figure out who's watching with us. And while I do that, I am going to ask you if you would go through an introduction, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, like who you are, where you're from, what you do, and more importantly, why you do what you do. That would be pretty awesome, man. And I'm going to be paying attention. I'm just sharing it out on my phone.
Okay. My name is Corey Fox, from Topeka, Kansas, and I work with an organization here in Topeka, Kansas called the One Heart Project. And what I do is I mentor young youth that's incarcerated, and when they come out into the community, and then I also facilitate a 9-core curriculum on integrity, perseverance, commitment, and self-control, just some basic character development skills that I teach in some of the schools around Topeka, Kansas, and also in Douglas County jails and the Topeka Shawnee County Youth Center as well, and the KJCC, Kansas Juvenile Correction Complex here in Topeka, the youth prison.
That's pretty awesome, man. Now, how exactly or why exactly did you get involved with this stuff? What led you to the point that you were helping out the kids that are incarcerated?
Well, it started from the way that I grew up in my childhood. And so I always knew and I always felt and had a desire to help young kids, because the kids that I have, they have friends and they would always come over to my house. And, I coach basketball as well with my kids. And so I always was around the youth, and most of them that I was around were kind of like, they didn't have a father around in the home. And so they would always come and, be one to be around us all the time and be around me. So I was more like a father figure to some of the kids around in our community. And I was always giving out advice and trying to reach out and help.
That is amazing, man. Now, what kind of things did you go through that put you in the realm to be able to help these kids, to able to show them that there is something more after a life of crime, I guess?
Right. Crime, I didn't do too much of crime. I did little, petty stuff like stealing and things like that. But what led me to wanting to help these kids is because I knew we had some similarities. And one of them was growing up without a dad and not having a father in our life. So I knew that's a big reason why some of us turn to gangs, turn to drugs and other things, is because of we don't have that male role model in our household. So I knew how that felt. So I remember when I was around 20 years old, I didn't have any kids, and I made a promise to God that I would if he allowed me to have kids, then I would always be there for my kids because I knew how that felt, and I wouldn't wish that on nobody. So I knew how that felt, and I didn't want my kids to grow up like that. So I wanted to break that generational curse, so to say, about, I didn't want to be like my dad at that time and not be around his kids, and I wanted to be around mine. So I made a promise to God, and I kept that promise.
That is amazing, man. I think it's so important for kids to have a strong male role model in their life. Now, it's also strong that, or also important that they have a strong female role model. But why is it important, you think, for them to have a male compared to a female?
Well, first and foremost is that to learn how to be a man, you have to be around a man to show you how to be that man. A woman, they do a great job at, showing their kids the right things to do and building them up to be good men or good people. But a man has to be there in their life, I feel, to show them like how to be a husband. A woman can't show a man how to be a husband. And they have to see that in another man, showing them how to be a husband, showing them, things like taking them fishing, just little small things, teaching them character, about integrity, showing them integrity, not just telling them. They would have to see truly how a man is also supposed to treat a woman. They have to see that from a male. See, and I didn't have that. And most of these kids out here today, they don't have that. So that's one of the reasons why I had to change my life, is because not only did I have kids, I knew other people's kids were looking up to me as well.
Yes. Now, actually, this is a great segment for me to kind of put my stamp on this show. So, I actually have a soft spot for kids in my heart too. And I have actually written Make Every Second Count, a 15-hour journal. Now, it is designed for kids 15 11 through 19. I'm always off on that number, but it works for anyone. It helps people develop their long-term goals in life by showing them how to live with more gratitude and more perspective. Now, you guys can actually download the first 7 days of this journal for completely free. All you have to do is go to my website at www.jeffmarconettejr.com/journal, and you will see it right there. I promise you will love this journal. If you do download the first 7 days and get the entire journal after and love that, please let me know, because I guarantee it will help you. And if you have kids, buy it for them. It's not expensive, and you can get it from me or from Amazon. So, all right, enough of that crap. So,
Jeff, that's awesome that you have that, because I do believe every kid needs something like that in their life to build character development, because most of the time, like I said, they're not getting that out there. So that's great that you made that book out there available for the youth from that age, from 11 to 19. That's wonderful.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you. So I'd like to find out a little bit more about your dope dealing days and dope using days.
Yeah, at the age, I'm gonna go back, like, from my dad left when I was about 3 months old. And so my mom, I have a little brother, she had met his dad. He was lived in Omaha, Nebraska. So growing up from 3 months old, I can remember from like 3 on up to like around 7, I stayed in Omaha. So and he was a great role model in my life at that age. So I got a little bit of discipline and a little bit seeing how a male should be and how they should treat a kid. But after the age of 9, around 8, we moved back to Topeka because they had split up. And then I would go back like a couple of summers. So after the age of 10, 11, I didn't have that male role model constantly in my life. But he showed me enough to know what I needed to do when I had kids. But that time and space that I had, I was just growing up. I was a pretty good kid. I always was respectful. I went to school and got good grades from, first grade up to 6th grade, and then middle school, 7th grade. But then for some reason in my 8th grade year, my life took a shift. And I didn't know if I was just lonely or still kind of just not having that male role model or mentor around anymore. So I started just hanging out with a friend, and we would just start off, we would just do things like drink a little bit, and then we would like smoke a little weed and things like that. And then, so 8th grade year goes by, 9th grade year, I drops out of school because now I'm just out in the street. Got a hold to some people that seeing people do drugs and things like that. So now there was like, you want to sell drugs. So now I just wanted some money and I would start selling drugs. But I also would work. Also had a job, but I was still selling drugs, still selling dope, working, and I was just doing my thing. I wasn't really bothering nobody and harming anybody as I thought. And then as I selling the drugs to people and the people that I know that I was pretty close to, and I'm selling them drugs, I'm looking at them and I'm like, how are they doing this drug? And they say this drug is supposed to be real deadly and cause you not to have money, to lose everything, and they're still getting up, going to work and things like that. So as time goes on, curiosity got to me. So I'm looking at everybody else and curiosity got to me. And why did I do that? Because then I started using the drugs that I was selling.
Yeah. Have you ever heard the quote, "The curiosity killed the cat"?
Yes. Yeah.
That's actually pretty true, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And
I find that fascinating.
So I started using, and it didn't take over to me. I thought I could handle it. I thought I was a pretty strong person, So then as time went on, slowly but surely, I started seeing myself calling into my job from my job. I started seeing that now I'm not making no money now. So now I'm becoming more than a user than more than a person that's selling dope. And then over time, it just caught up with me, and I ended up, and I turned around, Jeff, to make a long story short, 15 years done went by and I was still doing dope.
Wow. That's crazy. So how exactly did you get past the point where you were using that dope and calling in sick to work and just slacking on your life in general? How did you get to the point where you were just like, no, I'm not doing this anymore? I think a lot of people struggle with that. While it might not be drugs, it might not be alcohol, I guarantee it's something that they're struggling with. And if they aren't struggling with it yet, they're going to be. So can you tell people how exactly you got to the point where you said, no more?
I got to the point, Jeff, because I started thinking, I had my first son when I was 28. And actually, I had 2 sons when I was 28, because in the street, back then, I had one woman pregnant, and then I had another woman pregnant. So I got 2 sons that's 4 months apart. So I just started thinking about my kids, and then I had a daughter. She's 18 now, and I'm starting to think about my kids. And then I end up having more kids. So as I'm just thinking about, man, like, you are ending up like the person that you said that you didn't want to be. Even though you're there, you're not there all the way. They're not seeing the best of you. How are you going to teach your kids anything? So I use my kids as my why. And I promise that I had made to God when I was 20 years old that I would if I had kids, God, I promise you that I would do the right things for them and I would be there for them. So those things started replaying back in my head. And each time that I was in the streets doing drugs, drinking, and partying with my friends, I would always say, man, God, I know you're going to bring me out. God, I know you're going to bring me out. I don't like the person that I am. When are you going to bring me out? You said that you was going to bring me out. So I would always talk about God bringing me out. And I would always say, my kids got to give me strength. My kids is the one that's going to give me strength. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it for my kids. And then something pricked my heart, Jeff. And it said to me, if your kids is the most important thing to you, then why not do it for them? Get off drugs for them. Do it for them. And from this day forward, man, that was my why. That was my why, because I did not want my kids to see their dad or people in the streets talking about your dad's a crackhead or your dad's on drugs. And, that would hurt them. And then they wouldn't be able to focus on what they had to do just by hearing those things about their dad. So I had to either get it right or get it wrong or stay in the wrong. And I chose to get it right.
Yeah, that's pretty great, man. And I appreciate the advice that you give to people, because I know it can help somebody out there. And while it might not be one person, it might not be two people, it's going to be that third person. Now, that made very little sense, but I mean, like, it might not be that one person. It might not be that second person, but it's going to be that third person. So I want to say hi to some friends of the show. So hi to Ben Bruce from Uganda, Africa. Hi to John Bull from Nigeria, Africa. Hi to my dad from across the street. And hi to where'd it go? Hold on, I'm struggling here with my cast on my hand. But it's working. Hi to Sarah from Anderson, Indiana. Hi to Brittany. Hi to Nicole. Hi to Tara. Hi to Maria. Hi to where'd it go? I don't know. But I hope you guys are all enjoying this episode. Now, I realize that a lot of people are religious out there, and a lot of people aren't religious. So what can you tell the people that aren't religious, that aren't going out there and asking God to pull them from this life or get them through the problems that they're having?
Jeff, that's a hard one, because that I don't believe that people even have to be religious, but I believe in being just spiritual, just knowing, trying to find out who you are. So sometimes you have to dig deep within yourself. So even if you don't say you don't believe, you're not religious, but have it being some higher power within you that you could call on, that you could ask you for that strength. For me, it's God, because I know without him, I am nothing, and I just, hopefully the people that's not religious or don't believe in God, that one day that you will try, that you will find that God that you need to get through a lot of things in your life, because for me, it's God. And so I would just tell those people who aren't religious is just find a place of spirituality, a good space of energy, just being around great people, positive people out there to help you get through what you're trying to get through until you can really realize and find God for yourself, and be in a spiritual place for yourself.
Yes. All right, that's a great answer. Thank you very much for that. So I definitely just want to say that here on Make Every Second Count Live, we try to help people out. And I have a different guest all the time. In fact, you've been on this show before.
Yes, sir.
Now, next week I have Alexandria Johnson, and I hope everybody out there can join me Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time for that. And don't be afraid to ask questions. We're here for you guys, and we want to make more of a conversation than just a presentation. So ask as many questions as you would like. But Corey, I want to ask you. I have this motto called "Make Every Second Count." Now, what exactly does make every second count mean to you? Since you've heard the things that I've gone through, and I just figure you can elaborate on that.
I have this saying, to go along with that, make every second count, because you have to make every second count. Because I have this saying that says, we all live desperate lives, and we don't want to go to our grave with our music still in us. And what that means is that all your goals, all your gifts that you have in you, we don't want to take them to the graveyard. We don't want to be buried with those. So every second of your life is valuable. Every second, every step is valuable. So we have to make every second count, because we never know when it's when we're going to take our last breath. We don't know the day, the time, the hour. So we have to make every second count, because know it or not, people out there, somebody is depending on you. Somebody needs you. You're here for a purpose. So we have to make every second count for the next person that we might have to be a blessing to. And not only for them, but for ourselves.
Hands down, that's a great answer. And I thank you so much again for being here tonight. And I hope you have added value to somebody's life. I hope that somebody out there now sees that there is a way out of what they're dealing with. There is a way out of that kind of life. Because if you can do it and I can do it, then they can do it. So, guys, I want to ask Corey if he has any contact information he would like to give out.
Yes, I do. But before that, Jeff, I would just like to say that to everyone, man, like, just do your best and be around positive energy, because your energy and empowering your mind in the way that we think always has to be intact. I have 3 Fox principles that I go by. 3 Fox principles.
Right?
3. It's the Fox principles. And the first one is focus on desired outcome. Because if you focus and stay focused, then the desires of your heart that you can have that, but you have to stay focused. The second one is operate in integrity. Operate in integrity. Integrity is everything, because your character is 100% everything. So we have to always do the right thing even when nobody's looking. And then the third one is x-ray your thoughts. We always have to watch what we're putting in our minds, our thoughts. We have to watch what we're watching on TV. We got to even watch what people are telling us, what books we're reading. We always need to stay around positive people. So those are the Fox principles that I wanted just to share with you guys right now, is because those are the 3 steps that I took for me to become where I am today. So I'm with the One Heart Project. You can catch me on Facebook. My email is corey.fox@oneheart.com. And you can get me on Facebook, Corey Fox on Facebook. And you can also reach out to me by telephone number, 785-430-1826.
You're braver than me. I'm not giving out my phone number.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. But guys, this is me, and I'm telling you right now that you can be living your best life.
Yes.
There are many things that are going to try to get in your way, going to try to pull you down, hold you down, and kick you while you're down. But you can get past that because I always say that there is nothing that you have gone through that you haven't lived through. Now, let me say that again because you might have missed it. So there is nothing that you have gone through that you didn't live through. See, what you're going through now, while it might be hard, there's light at the end of the tunnel. I promise it's going to get better. This too shall pass. You just have to hang on. You just can't let anything stop you from going for what you want, for living that life of your dreams. So I want to tell you that you need to make every second count. Why? Because you never know when the seconds are going to run out on your one life. So from me, I will see you guys again next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And I want to say thank you again, Corey, and everybody out there. Have a great night.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And I hope somebody got something out what was said today. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a hard road. But when you decide to change your life and to change the things that you're doing, you can get there. It's just one step at a time. And like Jeff said, make every second count.
Music to my ears.